Welcome, Matt. Can you introduce yourself and talk us about Luganodes?
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. So I'm Max. I'm the partnerships and business development lead here at Luganodes. And Luganodes, we're enterprise grade professional validator, amongst others on the Near protocol, which we will talk about, right? But we are also live on other chains. So in total, about 40 chains that we support. So quite agnostic, quite diverse. That's why we also bring expertise from other communities and other protocols to the Near ecosystem. And maybe a little bit of a background about Luganodes. So we were born out of the Plan B initiative from Lugano, which is a city in Switzerland. And Lugano is a very crypto-friendly city. So this initiative, Plan B, is aimed to accelerate blockchain adoption. And we, as the staking provider, Luganodes, was born out of this initiative, Plan B. So I definitely wanted to share this here with the audience to definitely check out also our hometown, Lugano, Plan B. We're looking forward to definitely work more and more together with Near, and it's been an exciting ride so far.
I think this became interesting, like why choosing for being an operator, a node operator, instead of anything else that is happening inside of blockchain and Web3, why when you have the chance you choose to be node operator.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a very interesting and crucial role, right? We are literally the block producers in the blockchain. So this is the backbone, the fundament of the blockchain operations. And it's a very also challenging and technical role because you have to make sure that you, for example, don't go offline, right? You have to maintain a certain amount of uptime so the transactions can go through, right? You work with a lot of great minds together as well, the blockchain founders, for example. And there are also other initiatives that are relying on that, right? So all the dApps that are building on top of the blockchains, they are actually building on top also of or rely on the validators and the node operators. That's why I think it's a very exciting role, a very challenging role, and a very interesting role also from a technical perspective, but also with working with interesting people together.
Awesome, yeah. At the end, we need blocks for making everything that we have on Web3. So that's why the node operators became interesting. So for the new people that probably is the first time knowing that there are validators, there are nodes and things happening, how would you explain the role of a node operator to a 5-year-old?
Absolutely. So if you think about the blockchain, which is the system, right, where the transactions are happening that you send from A to B, then somebody has to process the transactions. And it's, again, it's a decentralized systems. So it's not like a single operator, one operator, centralized party where if I want to send the transaction to you, that I send the request of the transaction to the middleman and it sends it to you. Blockchains are a decentralized alternative to it, right? Where there's no particular middleman. And if you would like to send the transaction, for example, on the blockchain, then it will be, the request of the transaction will be propagated to the so-called node operators, the validators, right? That produce the blocks in the blockchain, right? As the name suggests. So we as as a decentralized system, the validator comes into an agreement by following the consensus, the rules of the blockchain, right? That states, hey, I cannot send, for example, more money than I have in my wallet. So if you send the request to the blockchain operator, like the first validator, and then I basically have to include it in the block because I'm the block producer as the node operator. And if it's according to the rules, as mentioned, for example, if I don't spend more money, for example, than I have in the wallet, then I will include your transaction in the block and then send it to all the other node operators, right? And ask them for the approval and ask them for confirmation that this is a valid transaction, a valid block, right? So basically, we as a validator, we are the block producer of the blockchain, and there are many of us.
Next question. Why do you consider it is important to have more node operators inside of a blockchain network?
It's very important, again, because of for the robustness of the blockchain, right? So as mentioned with the example of sending the transactions and producing the blocks, basically we as a node operator, we propagate the block proposal to the other nodes and they have to approve it, right? And the more nodes there are, the more resistant it is to avoid, for example, false transactions. Because it always needs a majority, for example, like more than half of the nodes approve it, right? So if, let's say, as a counter example, if we only have, let's say, 5 nodes in the entire blockchain ecosystem, and 3 of them, so the majority, make a backdoor deal that they include a transaction that is, sending a lot of money to me that actually doesn't exist, then we could easily overcome the protocol rules, and just create money out of thin air, for example. But if there are 100 nodes and it's just only us 3 that are malicious nodes, I have to convince more than 50 nodes, right? So the more validators there are, the more independent validators there in the system, the more robust the blockchain and the ecosystem becomes.
And here comes the question: why Luganodes choose a near protocol network to be node operator, and more specifically, why being inside of the enterprise node operators program?
Absolutely. So why we choose also near, we are, as a professional validator, we are also very selective when it comes to the blockchains that we support. And near checked all the boxes. They've been around for a long time. They solve very critical issues in the ecosystem, in the entire, because a blockchain ecosystem with the near blockchain, with the layer 1, and all the initiatives that they have that are ahead of us, right? It's also very contributing a lot to solving a lot of real problems. For example, with the upcoming near DA layer, or with the super fast finality layer that is coming up, right? What we see with Near is that they're very diverse, and they have also a very strong, as we all are very much aware of the AI momentum, and we all use it, right? And of course, Ilya with his team that has a strong background in AI, I think that will also play a very important, crucial role in the Near ecosystem. So we definitely wanted to be part of it. The team is also very professional. It's also very global. It also fits with our culture and alliance, right? And also our commitment to strong, reliable work and infrastructure service. So it was definitely a no-brainer for us to get involved and contribute to the ecosystem by being a validator on the Near blockchain.
What do you expect from this mixed stack of AI and blockchain being proposed by Near Protocol?
Definitely. So I think, and it's been very loud, right, when it comes to centralized AI, for example, which is, a great step that we see, right? It's more usable, but it comes with certain challenges that we might not be aware of yet, right? So open source AI is also something that we also would like to support as Luganodes. And I think that Near, when it comes to this aspect, Near has a lot of initiatives beyond AI. But I think when it comes to this aspect, I think Near could be as a front runner of decentralizing AI, make it more accessible, make it more fair, more transparent, right, for the world and for the users. So we are definitely wanted to commit and also contribute to achieve that.
So, about your participation inside of the Enterprise Node Operators program, why did you decide to become part of this program? And what are we know that you set goals for participating inside of the program? Can you share us insights about those goals?
Absolutely. First of all, the Inno program, I think it's a great initiative because even though, for example, Luganodes or any other validator might already be active in the Near ecosystem, because again, it is also permissionless to join as a validator. But nevertheless, sometimes it's hard if you're a new participant to know where to start and where to dive deeper in the ecosystem. So who are the right partners to talk to? Who are the right ecosystem participants, right? And the Inno program solves this issue and supports the smaller validators, you could say, right? To help them get more involved in the ecosystem with making the right introductions, with setting the right goals that should be achieved from the validator. So coming back to your question, for us the goals would be also, for example, as we're an institutional validator, right? To bring more attention in the institutional space, for example, VCs or hedge funds or exchanges, for Near, in particular for Near staking, to enable them to stake, right? And to also contribute in that way in the robustness of the ecosystem. But the other goals also, for example, were of a more technical nature. Of course, the RPC, for example, has to be very stable and very reliant. And I think we can always have more of these, right? So one of our goals of Luganodes, for example, is what we wanted to contribute besides running a validator is to publish and offer more RPCs, public RPCs to the wider ecosystem to make it more reliable. So I think it's a great symposium of contributing more to the ecosystem, but on the other hand, getting support from the Eno program, right, to get more involved with the overall ecosystem.
Got it. And following this idea, what challenge are you facing for being a node operator inside of the NIR protocol network, and also for being an ENOS participant?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, luckily, as the NIR protocol has been around for a longer time, we didn't have too much challenges on the technical side, because all the technical hiccups, so to say, I think were already solved in the first years of the protocol. And this is what we as Luganodes, we see with, let's say, new chains, right? That especially in the beginning, during the mainnet launch, there are always a little bit of challenges on the technical side, something that was not discovered during the testnet, for example. And then there might be some bugs that we have to solve together with the foundation. But as we participated in NIR a little bit later, during the mainnet or after the mainnet, on the technical side, the documentation provided by the ecosystem, by NIR, was already very developed, very advanced. So on the technical side, everything went quite smooth, I have to say. So we were very happy about that. But challenges definitely would be, again, if you come into the ecosystem, you don't know exactly who the right people are to talk to, right? When it comes to collaboration on new initiatives, right? As the super fast finality layer, for example, or the NIR DA, right? Also with some dApps building on top of it, right? That might also need RPCs, etc. So I think the challenge was for us, and I think maybe for new validators, to find the right network, to find the right participants, to find the right partners in this big ecosystem that might be sometimes very challenging.
You share a lot of insightful information with us during this recording, so there is something that we are missing to say.
Yeah, so I'm definitely very bullish and very curious to see how all the initiatives of the NIR ecosystem will play out, right? So I think the account aggregation, for example, with the MPC layer, is very important, and I wanna highlight that, because even if you use, let's say, as an advanced user, use, for example, MetaMask or some other wallets, it's still sometimes very challenging, right? And if you think about mass adoption and to onboard the average person, we have to definitely simplify that. That's my personal opinion. And I think the upcoming also account aggregation amongst different various chains with the upcoming MPC layer is something that I'm very, very curious and I'm very much looking forward to contribute as a node operator to the system. And also that how this will be a large contribution to the next step for mass adoption, right? To bring the new users to the ecosystem. Because this is where all it starts, right? With the interaction with the wallet on different chains. And it's, let's be honest, we're not there yet. So this is something that I also wanted to highlight that I think we haven't touched upon yet.
Yeah, it feels exciting. At the end, I like this statement of no shame. So you don't know that you're using a blockchain while you're using a blockchain.
Absolutely. And if I just might jump into it here, if you think about the Web 2 world, right? If you download a normal app in the Play Store, you as a user don't think about, okay, is it built on AWS or is it built on Google Cloud? You never think about it, right? So I 100% agree with you that we have to come to a point where the user doesn't feel if it's on a NIR blockchain or another external blockchain. It's all interconnected and abstracted away.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree that will be the best approach for the users. So let's hope that this can be possible soon inside of the NIR protocol network. So Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.